Thank you. So, who am I speaking to?
Wow. I always hesitate to answer that question.
I know, it's a difficult one. Where do you start?
Okay, I'll start from the name that I was given by my parents. My name is Fungai Tanyaradzwa I know it's a long name. In the music circles, they know me as Fungai Tanyaradzwa.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Fungai Tanyaradzwa, welcome to Just for Women, our final episode, episode 14.
Thank you.
Thank you for gracing us.
Thank you.
So, in the musical circle, so I think there's already a hint there in the musical. So if you had to describe yourself, what would you describe yourself as, the things that you do?
I'm multi-talented.
Okay.
I'm an artist. I'm a performing artist. That is acting, dancing, singing, playing instruments, goma, bira, a bit of keyboard, and wamanda. And I'm also a storyteller and a poet. That's performing arts. Then I'm also a writer. I write stories. I write screenplay. Yes, I'm working on some books, motivational and epic, that can give the youth a glance or something, a glimpse into the past, like my imagination about how people used to live, my own version of Disney princesses, but not those princesses that we know. I'm talking about the princesses and the princes with kinky hair, with what can I say, animal skin for their clothes. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I want to jump on that because when I was reading about you and getting to know you more, you have a line, or I think it was an article that was written about you where you expressed that art is an expression of spirituality. And I think that is an amazing line, and apparently it was a quote from you. Can you tell me more about that? Art is an expression of spiritual. At first I want to take it for myself and keep it forever, because I think that is so beautiful, as I am an artist myself. But yeah, can you talk about that more?
Okay.
Being an expression of spirituality.
A human being is created in the image of God. Yes. Meaning humans are spirit. We live in this physical realm. There's a lot going on in the physical realm. There are guidelines, there are boundaries, there is everything. But then there is that free spirit, that soulfulness that is within everyone, that is hidden. You can't express it sometimes. But art is an expression form. You can do painting, you can draw, you can write, you can dance. Feel yourself flying, feel yourself blooming like a flower in the process. So it's a way of expressing yourself without judgment, without boundaries, because you're being you, you're being unique. Yes.
So then, Fungai, when did this journey begin? Like talk to me about school, how was education? Did you know that you wanted to get into be a performing artist? And how was Mama and Daddy and their reaction, or your family's reaction to you wanting to jump into this? So I guess in the beginning, so walk me through. How was school? Where did you go to school? Let's start from there, and then we'll go there.
Okay, I was born in Chitungwiza.
Okay.
Then I grew up in Chitungwiza. And then we changed places and moved to Epworth. It's a place where everyone looks down upon that place, you know. Even up to now, when I move around and they say I grew up in Epworth, people say, Epworth people have people like you? But no, every place have got people. So right there, there's a lot of rockery, there's a lot of nature. It's not yet very disturbed like other areas, you know. So I would look at the clouds, I would look at the trees, I would watch the birds, I would look at nature, I would look at people, how people fight, how people laugh, how people chat. I drew inspiration from all that. But then I was a quiet child, because I had healthy issues. I had a condition that I was born with. So most of the times my body was in pain. So I had to find that soul, that spirit that I was talking to you about, to pull through every painful day. I had to create a new me, the me that nobody else could see, but only me knew about. That person never felt pain. That person never felt hunger. That person was always happy. So how would I express that person? I would take my paper, I would take my pencil, I would start drawing. When I remember when I was around 3, 4, I would go on the ground and I would draw images on the soil. It was very fun for me. Sometimes, you know, as a little kid, I would just then draw,
spend hours,
you know, and then take all the soil and put it in a cane and then say, this is my drawing. And then, but then what I'm talking about is freedom of expression using art. Yes. So it, as I was saying, it helped me through healthy challenges. So from there, growing up, I wanted to be a medical doctor because I believed I needed to know more about health since I had health issues. But then God had other plans for me. I usually believe that I can do anything or everything as long as I put my mind and my time in it. So that's how the artist Fungai was born. I could look at people carving stones and I would say, yeah, stones are hard for me, but I can take threads, needles, and a cloth and knit, or I can do embroidery or something. So I went to Epworth Primary School, Kwajana 3 Primary School, Kwajana High School, and then George Stark in Bari. Then from there, by that time, both my parents were late. I was now staying with my grandma and my aunts. They were very inspiring. Especially the aunt that was taking care of me, she had her own 5 kids and she took the 4 of us and my granny and looked after us. So she also made me know that in life you can do anything as long as you put your heart and mind in it. So from there, I then enrolled with Music Crossroads Academy. In later years, I did my certificate in music. And then at that school, I discovered that where there are people, there are opportunities. And where there's a challenge, it's your opportunity to do something. I realized there is a gap in the music instrument bags. Yeah, there were a few manufacturers in Zimbabwe. So my friend said, you have got a sewing machine. Why can't you start sewing bags? I said, no, I never went to a sewing school. I only did sewing at O level. That's fashion and fabrics. But he said, no. As much as I know you, if you put your mind and your heart in it, you can do it. Then I started sewing bags or instruments. Yeah, the first ones I tell you, they were funny, but I didn't give up. Yeah, I kept on trying and trying and trying, and now I can make bags without hesitation. You know, so from there, I started making graduation gowns, started making costumes, started doing beadwork. You know, as I was telling you, anything that attracts my mind and heart, I believe it's a form of expression. I try and do it. So from there, I discovered I didn't have to go to medical school. We can heal through different ways. We can heal through reading motivational stories. We can heal from hearing other people's stories. We can heal from music. We can heal from dance. You know, we can heal from different things. So I said, oh, I want to heal people. But now I'm not going to be a medical doctor. I'm going to do it with the talents, with the art that God gave me. Yes.
There's something to do, and I know I spoke about this a few episodes ago, where you've just mentioned it, but something to do with art therapy and therapy through art. And this is exactly what you're saying, through, you know, whether it's music, whether it's through drawing, and there's something very, I guess, amazing about that, you know what I mean? In that, yeah, right? That it doesn't need for us to go to a hospital or something, or a medical clinic. This can be done through art, so you can get through a lot of people through art.
But then unfortunately, as I was growing up, it was more of a taboo to choose that career path. Yeah, to choose to go down that lane, saying I want to be an artist, I want to play mbira. People would say, no, you want to invite demons, or there's a chirombe. You won't have an income, you won't be able to have a pension, you won't be able to sustain. Very fortunately, for this generation, the younger generation that is growing up, now people understand that art is more than just a hobby. and it's more of that therapy that you're talking about, because that person who's doing the art is healing in some things. That person who is receiving art is also benefiting spiritually, physically, emotionally. So it's something that is part of human lives. If you see, when a baby is born, it cries, but we sing for them. When a person dies, we sing for them. When someone is getting married, we sing. Meaning art and music, or art and film or comedy is part of human lives. So it wasn't by coincidence that it's part of human life. It's a therapy that we all need from the harshness of this world.
So then all these different, you speak about writing and about dance. Do you feel that all your work then has become for therapy, or is it also entertainment, or it's a mixture of both? Or do you say, it's a long question, I know, because I just don't, or is it that there are certain types of your arts that you do that are for therapy, and there are certain arts that are for entertainment? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. It's for entertainment, some of it,
okay.
But most of it, I make sure it's from deep within me, which means it's for therapy, for motivation, for inspiration. Yes, and there's also the business aspect, because I'm living, I have to make a living too. Yes.
I read, let's move slightly more to the therapy one, that you were looking at epilepsy awareness as one of your key areas of interest.
Yes.
Why epilepsy awareness, if you don't mind me asking?
I had friends who would have seizures, and people would label them with, those things that would destroy the victim more. As I said, I have a condition. It's rheumatoid arthritis. It's rheumatism. It affects my heart, my lungs, my joints. It's most likely, what can I call it? An invisible disability. You look at me, you think I'm well, but deep down inside, I'm not. So I realized my struggle is better than the struggle of those people. So empathy pushed me. I realized I have to do something about this. If I am to live in this world, then I have to give a hand to someone who needs that hand. So I decided that I would learn as much as I can about epilepsy, and I would talk about it, and I would sing about it, so that the society will know better and treat people with epilepsy better. So I went to perform sometime back in 2007 at Epilepsy Support Foundation in Hatfield. I decided to be a volunteer there. Whenever they are having awareness campaigns, I'm part of them. Whenever I see an opportunity that we can talk about epilepsy, I make sure that I use that opportunity, so more people will learn and accept those people as any other human being in this world.
First of all, thank you. I think we're already shedding a little bit more light anyway on epilepsy and that situation, especially here in our country, Zimbabwe. Do you feel that it is something that still needs to be talked about? Is the Epilepsy Foundation still there that you just spoke about?
Yes, the Epilepsy Support Foundation is still there, but then it's in Harare, it's in Hatfield. There are many places
that are affected.
Yes. Even here in Harare, communities don't really know, because most of the time the people who come there are the people with children with that condition or with a relative with that condition. In most instances, those people would have gone to witch doctors and other places, told that it's a spirit in the family, what. But the truth is, epilepsy is a neurological condition.
Right.
Yeah, someone can be born with it. It can be triggered by accident. It can just start on its own after a certain illness. Even at our age, you can get it. But it can be controlled by medication, lifestyle, and diet. So I think there's a lot to be done by awarenesses, by medication, and I think training more medical personnel who deal with those people in remote areas.
So when we look at them, so let's since we're still on the subject of epilepsy, so we take the subject of epilepsy, and then we put it on the table, and then how do you approach it then as an artist? You said you sang about it, so what are you writing in these songs? What are you trying to say? Then how do you approach the situation about epilepsy, given what you've just said to me right now?
Okay.
As an artist.
As an artist, sometimes I put it in a comic way. Yeah. Sometimes I put it in a comic way. Sometimes I take myself as the person living with epilepsy. Like the other song that says, Hadina kuroiwa, maivangu avaroye. You know, because most of the times people think you are bewitched. So if I put it into an act,
it's relatable.
You know, people can relate. They can understand the language of a victim. They can understand the cries of a mother who has been divorced because she gave birth to someone with epilepsy. You know. And then sometimes we talk about the ways you can manage the epilepsy, either in skits or in those songs. Sometimes I do storytelling, like in a funny way, people laugh, you make people join into the conversation, you do question and answer, and then that's how the community learns. Yes.
And then as we move on to, this is an interesting one for me, children's books. It's always fascinated me about like the writers that write for children. I think there's something very, because I believe they were all children in some way.
That's very true.
And I know, obviously, I just met your kids as a mom as well. How has that been, as well as writing children's books for you?
Wow.
That relationship between being a mother yourself and also writing children's books.
Before I had kids, I would only write things that are my age, like age appropriate only to me, because I could relate. But then growing up and then becoming a mother and then watching my children grow, I remembered who I was, who I am, and who I'll always be. I am a child. Inside me there's this little girl that cries sometimes. There's this little girl that laughs. So we are the guidance of these children. We are their light. We are the people who choose what they must know about life and how they can pave their way into adulthood. So as I was saying that our culture, our heritage is being eroded by foreign cultures. Yes, culture is dynamic, but then there are some aspects of our culture that we must not bury. So how do we put them to our kids? Nowadays, children no longer go to their grandmother's house in the rural areas because the grannies are now living in the cities, and some of the grannies don't even know some of those things. So by researching, by reading, I am a reader. Yeah, I'm very addicted to reading, very addicted to researching. Then I have this crazy imaginary child, in me. Yeah, that mind. It leads me to write for children. Yes, if I want my kids to know about Mkwerera, how do I write it in a way that to make them understand it for the rest of their lives? If I'm going to write about, what can I say, waterfalls, the beautiful waterfalls in Zimbabwe, and the mysteries that used to happen there back then, and how we can preserve them. If I'm going to write about nature and how what we wear, what we eat, the things we use affect nature, how do I put it so that my 5-year-old will understand? So I sit down, I gather my courage, I listen to the inner voice in me, and then a pen is done. Yes. Sometimes I even ask my daughter, "Nai, baby, what do you think about this?" Then she tells me from her own perspective, and then I put my own thoughts in it, and the creative mind flows.
It seems to me, Fungai, just everything, and this could be actually what happens anyway in as an artist, as a performing artist, that everything comes from with you. Yes. You know, like we've just spoken about epilepsy, but that was coming from your own medical condition. We've spoken about the writing of children's books and your approach to it. That's coming from yourself as well. So it seems like everything as an artist, you're not really looking for any inspiration. The inspiration is within you.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, it lives within you. Not only for artists, but for everyone, for every person living on earth. You have got this creativeness that is in you, that art that is in you. Okay, we could just say every human being is an artist in their own right.
So just starting to switch to maybe the negative side a little bit.
Yeah.
What are the, so let's be very frank here. You are a woman in an arts industry that is, very heavily male dominated here in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Would you agree with it?
Very true.
How have you survived? What challenges have you faced, and how have you overcome? What is the trick? How does a woman survive, Fungai, in our Zimbabwe arts industry here?
From my experience, when I was younger, you would meet people who would promise to take you very far, but then their terms and conditions are not human enough. They are not female friendly. Okay, they don't consider you as a person with rights, but as an object or as a puppet. So it's really hard. But I would like to thank organizations, support groups that are there that support women in art. When I ventured into art, my granny and my aunts didn't agree with it because they believed someone has got to go to school and have a job that have a pension and a salary every month. They didn't understand that thing of going for a gig this weekend, not having another next weekend, having 5 the following week. No. So there was this Pamberi Trust. It helped with workshops to groom us as female artists, And then there is Zimbabwe Musicians Union. It has a women's days. It's United Women in Music. They do those sessions. They do those counseling sessions. They do those workshops. They give guidelines. Even if some female artists fall victim to the
exploitation,
exploitation in the industry, there are lawyers who can represent us. There are psychologists.
But is this free though? Is this free? How does this work?
It is
for those young women that are watching now that want to venture in.
It is free. It is very free, because we only subscribe once a year for the Zimbabwe Musicians Union, and that subscription is $5. Yeah, just $5. And sometimes the registration is $5, and then you choose how to pay the subscription. Sometimes you just put $1, but even if you do not have subscription, you get help, because that's where you learn the standardization of the industry, the strategies, the business side. So even if you're starting with zero, you are welcome to join those unions. Then there's Divas in Action, where ladies come together, find a venue, find a cause to support. If you want to talk about gender-based violence, if you want to talk about drugs, if you want to talk about sexual abuse, if you want to talk about suicide, we just gather and then we go to a certain community, we do what we do. And sometimes we even sing in the streets, mama, can we sing with you? Sing hymns, we just to make people happy, just to make people laugh. Yeah. So the industry is not very easy, I tell you, because sometimes, especially in the lockdown, the COVID-19 lockdown, we didn't have gigs. That means you have to look for plan B if you're a musician. Yes, for me, I had to survive through other means, since I have a wide range of selection to choose from my arts. But then it's not everyone who has that. So as a musician, you have to have another source of income to pull through. Currently, music alone cannot sustain you as a female artist in Zimbabwe, except for those big names. But for the upcoming, you have to have another source of revenue for you to live. Then there's this thing of marriage. Sometimes
that's a big one. And the kids.
Marriage. Sometimes you meet a partner who doesn't understand. Sometimes they say, I'll support you. But then and then when you're married, They just say no. Married women don't dance in front of people, and all those boundaries set by societies. A married woman can't come home during the night. A married woman can't come home after the husband, and all those sort of things. So it has affected a lot of good talent. Some people, you could tell that this person, if given the chance, they could go high. They could go international, they would become a big force to reckon. But then because of sometimes marriage or sometimes too much judgment, because if you become a public figure, people expect too much from you. So once you face a challenge and harsh comments come to you, sometimes some people just break down and cannot take it again. They cannot go into the public again. Yeah, so those are some of the challenges. And then there is no pension for you if you don't invest yourself. So for an artist, it's one of those things. Besides talent, would need some education. Yeah. So places like this, Zimbabwe College of Music, the Music Crossroads Academy, MSU, University of Zimbabwe, they've got those programs that cater for artists, so that you don't just become a talent that will be wasted, but you become something that will build into a legend, an investment that will benefit not only you, but your family and the other people in the society too.
That's amazing. So, how then? This is just me out of interest. How then do you balance your day? It seems like you have. Do you have a schedule? Do you just wake up and there's a mission to be like? How? Yeah. What is your day like? What is Fungai's day like?
Yeah, my day is.
And I know you've got kids as well, so there's that part of it involved. Yeah.
My day, I can't really say. I have
a set time that you wake up.
Time or a formula. Yeah. No, I can't say that. But sometimes I do have all-night rehearsals. So sometimes my day is during the night, and sometimes.
And the kids?
They are with me. Yeah. So that's
especially the baby.
The baby is with me. Oh. The baby is still breastfeeding.
Oh, so he's there all night in the rehearsal.
Yeah, and he is used to it. He knows that when he's playing drum, I just sit there with my little drum and I play also, or I just watch cartoon, or I just play with other kids around. My husband is supportive. He just said, as long as you put our family first, then you can do whatever you want to do with your talents, as long as the kids do not suffer in the process. So I have time to do homework with my girl. I have time to play with the little boy. Yeah. So sometimes I sweep the house at 3 p.m. I don't have a timetable. Sometimes I have to sew in the morning because someone is waiting for a bag or someone is waiting for a costume. So I can't say my day is a normal day, like the usual normal day. A woman has to wake up and by 6 o'clock she has to be done sweeping. No. It depends with my diary. Yes, I do plan. Today I'm going to do this, tomorrow I'm going for a rehearsal, tomorrow we have got a gig and this and that. But things pop up, and sometimes a child can just get sick during the night. So what I've learned is I do what I can when I can.
Oh, that's it. I do what I can when I can.
Yes, yes. So that I don't break down. Because I want to be a good mother if I'm bent out. I won't be a good singer if I haven't rested. Yes. And sometimes I can't even do anything. Where's my body? My body, as I told you about my health condition. Sometimes my body just doesn't allow me to wake up. But then I've learned to live with it. I've learned to be in peace with it. When I was younger, I could get depressed because I wanted what they call normal life. But then I realized that normal is boring.
Normal is boring. And
So I just said, no, I live each day as it comes. If you say, Fungi, come here, we have to do this. If I can't, I tell you, you know what? I can't today, I'm not well. But there's someone who has the same skill. I refer others. I am not selfish. I make sure that when I can't, I refer someone. So I even have people I'm teaching how to knit, because hand knitting has been dying, but it's also it's a sort of therapy, because if every stitch is done with love, because because it's from your hand. Sometimes you prick yourself,
Yeah, yeah.
but then you keep on going because you are so
You know,
passionate.
yeah.
You want someone to be warm in winter. So I'm teaching a few people who are interested. I'm teaching a few who are interested in sewing. So that my life is bearable.
Okay.
Yes, I would love to die knowing that someone is carrying on the torch. Yes, of knitting, of sewing, of writing, of singing, of playing drum. That's what I want.
Please continue doing that. That's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just a few fire questions then as we finish fast round questions.
Don't ban me.
Nah, I won't tell you. What advice then would you give Fungai to your 16-year-old self when you were 16 years old? Having, if you could look back in the past as you are now a woman, what advice would you give yourself to your 16-year-old self back when you were 16? A young lady.
That's it.
That you know now.
Okay. I would tell myself, or any other 16-year-old, that do not be afraid. Life is to be lived. You don't have to just survive, but you have to live. And by living, I mean you have to love yourself and love your surroundings and love the people around you, and know that we are all different, and learn how to tolerate others, and learn how to draw a line between abuse and tolerance. Yes.
That's deep. Who do you look up to then? Or I think I probably know this one. It's probably your grandmother. But,
Yes.
But I was gonna ask, who did you look up to then? Yeah, as your inspiration. Who keeps you going?
My grandmother, as you say. Yeah, my grandmother is a heroine to me. She's a she-warrior. She has been through a lot. She has had a lot of health issues, operations. She's lost all her kids, but she's still a mother to us all. She still prays for all her 17 grandchildren and even some nieces from outside, some great-grandchildren. She remembers us all. She gives us advice. And looking at her life, she has built herself a beautiful life, a beautiful place to retire and play with her grandchildren. So she's one of my role models, the best role models. And then there's a lot, I can't even name them one by one. There are a lot of people who inspire me. You even inspire me too. Yeah. Every living being, you have something that you learn and appreciate from them. So if I'm to name people,
the list is
endless. Because from everyone I meet, even a street kid, there's something that I learn from them. Even a person with mental disability, there's something that I learn from them. So life inspires me. Every human being is my role model. I look up to them and just take something that is positive from them and learn from it and apply it to my life.
One of my other questions was going to be about your passion and what drives you to keep going every day. And I think you've answered it, is that it's your passion. It's in you. This is why you do. Because it's a question I was thinking about when you're naming all the negative things and the exploitation that happens in the industry right now, and especially for any young ladies that are watching. But as I listen to you, I feel and hear your passion. That this is in you. This is what, it's almost like this is what you were brought on earth to do.
Yeah, well, I can say we are all missionaries in our own rights. Someone was sent to build beautiful houses. Someone was sent to make beautiful cars, for humanity to continue and exist in happiness and joy. So I believe God gave me the talents that He gave me, so that the earth can be a bearable place for someone. Just a smile to someone or just a song to someone can heal or unleash a hidden gift in them. So passion is something that is in me, and it's actually more of a weakness to me, because I just believe that in every dirty stone there is a hidden gem. Maybe it may be just a a
That's small.
millimeter long, but it's a special thing. So I believe in giving every human being a chance and an opportunity, and art is one of the ways that you can reach out to every human being so that they can then live for their purpose, then live for their passion, and fulfill their missions before they leave this world.
As we round up then, what are you, if you can give us a little bit of a glimpse into your performing artist there, is there anything you're working on now? I know you've mentioned the screenplays. Is there anything else you're working on that we should keep an eye out? Any upcoming festivals, performances, or?
Yeah, I'm working with this female outfit. We are a trio. We are called Mazwi. Mazwi meaning words, Mazwi meaning voices. We do traditional music and also do contemporary. So we've got a few shows lined up, and we are going to be going into the communities, into the ghettos. As I was saying, our mission is to heal hearts. Our mission is to bring together broken homes. Our mission is for humans to coexist in harmony and prepare a great future for the next generations. So musically, you're going to see us knocking at your doors, coming into your hoods, and I hope you are going to welcome us and enjoy.
You're always welcome here, you know that.
Yes.
It's amazing. And obviously, good luck then with your ebooks.
Thank you.
Your books that are coming out. Right?
Thank you.
So then, as we round up, then, so my last question to you is, where do you see yourself then, Fungai, in the next 5 years? If I had to ask you, like, oh, what do you want to have accomplished then?
Okay.
You know, in 5 years when I interview you again, and I say, remember what you said to me, Fungai? Did this come true?
What? Okay, that's a big challenge.
That's a big one, yeah.
Okay. As I was saying, I would love people to learn what I've learned. So in the next 5 years, I hope some people would have read books. I hope some people would have seen me on stage, not only the Zimbabwean stage, but all over the world. And my movies would have changed a few people's life or more. And in terms of knitting and sewing, I really dream of grooming a lot of young people, not only women. I also want to raise good men in the society.
We need you to do that.
Yes. So in the next 5 years, I hope and pray that there will be testimonies that I would have touched lives.
Fungai, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. How was that? Were you nervous?
At first.
At first, it's really weird. I've spoken to people about this. As an artist, even when I was on stage, I always feel like really nervous, right? Like in the beginning, but then you kind of relax into it.
Especially when you're coming from the backstage. You're
like, oh my god, yeah. And then you start to.
Yeah.
No, this was an amazing conversation. It's really very sort of eye-opening.
Thank you. It also reminded me of my purpose.
Yeah. You know, and also I think it's something that, you know, we like why I wanted to do this show, just to understand like how women do it, like especially when they have families and they have kids and they have responsibilities as a wife and a mother. You know, those responsibilities you want to keep, you don't want to hold, but you also have, you know, your own business.
You would have to be, you know, principled. You have to prioritize what comes first. Yes, as much as we may want fame and fortune, the best gift that God gave humans is family. Is companionship is the first thing that even Adam was given Eve. You know, it's something special. That's why even in our culture, you have to raise some money to pay so that you have someone in your life, which means it's not good to be alone. So I wouldn't overlook my family for my profession. I make sure that I love them both, and I try to give them the same amount of love. Though sometimes it's hard, yes, but then I just have to share it between my talents and my kids, because they are both my gifts. Yes, and my husband is also my gift, so I have to treasure you.